Welcome to the lounge where the stories climb high. Dr. Rhonda's in the groove where the pages touch the sky. Sip on inspiration, let the moments unwind. Every voice a horizon, new tales intertwine. From pen to passion where the art feels divine. Authors vibing together, creativity and time. So pull up your chair, let your spirit align. Horizons Author Lounge where words come alive. Welcome to Horizons Author Lounge.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I am back with another amazing episode. And I do say amazing. Yes, I do. I guarantee it. A new episode, an amazing episode of the Horizons Author Lounge. And it's going to be even more amazing because you are here with me. And I thank you so much for your continued support and helping us to grow this show so we can continue to support authors and give our independent authors a platform to not only talk about their books, but to sell their books. So with the books that you are about to see tonight, I ask you guys to please, please, please make sure you are supporting these books because we're about to talk about some great stuff. We're talking about family dynamics tonight. We're talking about how your stories can touch people and how they can affect family dynamics. And we're going to be starting with a children's author first. Her name is Lisa R. Frazier, and she is from Delaware. And I'm actually going to be in Delaware on August 22nd. So more information about that, but I really love you guys to, if you're in the Delaware area, to join me out there. But we're about to get a little preview of Delaware right now. So I'm going to bring, without any further ado, Miss Lisa R. Frazier. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good evening, everyone. How are you?
Wonderful. It's so good to see you. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me. I'm so honored.
Oh, I'm honored to have you. Thank you. So before we jump in there, because, you know, I'm really excited about jumping in there, I just want to know first, who is Lisa Frazier?
That's a complex question. Lisa Frazier, I'm a former educator. I used to work at AI DuPont as the student ambassadors director, teaching leadership to middle school children. I am a mother of 3 adult children.
Nice.
The grandmother of three grandchildren and 3 bonus grandchildren, a wife, and now an author.
Well, you've just lived every bit of life, haven't you?
Yes.
I love that. So I was mentioning that you're a children's author. So why did you choose that path to write children's books?
It actually chose me. My first book, if someone had asked me 25 years ago, would I ever consider writing children's book? I would have said absolutely not. Wasn't on my bingo card at all. My eldest granddaughter lost her other grandmother when she was 2.5. And it was literally nothing out there to explain to her how we would still be with her long after we're gone. And I started telling her stories about, just using everyday elements to explain to her how we're going to still be here with her.
Right.
And when she was about 9, I was going to put it all together and make a little Etsy book for her. And she says, well, Mimi, why don't you make it for everybody?
Oh.
So that's what I did. The first story I told her, we were walking to the car and it was raining. And I said, do you feel that? And she says, yeah. I said, that's just your grandma giving you thousands of kisses. So just using everyday things to explain how we're still here. And it just takes the actual character is a blend between my 2 granddaughters, Nori and Zoe. And the little girl in the book's name is Zori.
Oh, so that is so sweet that she wanted to share the story that you actually were making for her.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. That just shows the kind of heart that she has at such a young age.
She's an absolutely amazing kid. I have I know I'm kind of partial, but I think my grandchildren are the best.
There's nothing wrong with being partial. I love it. So, well, now you have 2 books right now?
Yes. The first one was Where's Mimi?
Mhm.
And the second one is A Boy with a Magic Hat. The Boy with a Magic Hat is also a heart project for me. It's based on my great nephew who is nonverbal autistic. And
Mm.
these were some of my hopes and dreams and my fears for him when his mom told me that she was going to transition him to a regular classroom. And my thoughts were, is he going to have friends? How are the kids going to interact with him? Is he going to be alone? Is he going to be lonely? Um, is he going to be bullied? So, A Boy with a Magic Hat uh, goes through a little journey with Carson, the main character here, this little guy.
Yes.
And it's actually my little nephew's face. We brought him to life. And Carson actually winds up teaching his classmates a lesson about inclusion. Um, there's a saying in my family that we're the same kind of different. I had a mentally challenged cousin as a kid, and how my grandmother explained to us how she's different but still the same. She says she's the same kind of different, and we kind of were like, well, what does that mean? How can you be the same and different? And she says on the inside is what makes us human. On the
Yeah.
outside is what makes us unique, and it needs to be celebrated and not rejected or feared or any of those things. And I kind of lived my life that way, wondering, when I meet people, I want to see how I connect with them. Not, oh, they're different. And it came from lessons my grandmother gave me.
That's beautiful. Now, the theme of the show is how stories help us heal and understand who we are. How do you believe that your book was able to succeed in that?
Where's Mimi? My granddaughter literally stopped smiling, and telling her different stories and bringing everyday life to her and telling her that these are just winks from her grandmom. I started to see her smile again. I started to see her, visiting her pictures. And now she's 16, and every so often I'll get her, looking over her shoulder, with a little smirk. And but what is that? She says, I can feel her.
Oh,
So I think from a very young age, teaching her that it's not something, although her grandmother is no longer here physically, now she's not confined to time and space. She can be with her at any time, any moment, whenever she wants to think about her. And it has given her so much comfort. And the feedback that I've gotten from adults and children alike, people who read this book to children,
hmm,
I answer all my emails, and a lady said to me that she lost her husband and her son, and she was unable to look at their pictures or remove their clothes from the closet. And she says reading the book to her grandchild, um, now she approaches it with memories of love, and it makes her smile. It's not, although she still misses them, it's not um, so heartbreaking. She can remember the good times without her heart breaking over and over and over again.
right, right. That's that's beautiful. How does it feel to know that you're creating stories that help with this type of healing?
It feels, I get that question often. It feels surreal. Um, it really, I never thought that my words um, would help so many people. And I am truly honored um, by it. When I hear people, say that something that I wrote helped them, that's
Right.
truly my biggest goal. It was really just to help my granddaughter, and it wound up helping so many other people. Um, it's truly an honor. It's really humbling, and I tell people all the time that this was a God work. This was not something that I did at all. but just to see her smile again and know now that it's making other kids smile, it really warms my heart.
Wow. And this all started because you wanted to create something to help one baby, and that baby said, "No, let's share this."
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like you were both right.
Yes.
I love that. I love it. Now show us the books again.
Okay. This is Where Is Mimi?
Beautiful illustrations. How did you choose your illustrator?
My niece, the mother of my great nephew, wrote a book, A Mother's Wish, I believe it was, and I used her illustrator. And young man out of Philadelphia, PA,
Okay.
Andre Cheney. He look him up on Instagram. He is awesome. One of the kindest, nicest people you ever want to meet. He's doing so many amazing things now. And this guy here, A Boy with a Magic Hat, was illustrated by Hashim James, a young man from my church, awesome guy, very humble young man. So I chose them mainly because I wanted to see if they could bring my character to life,
Right.
especially the main character. The boy with a magic hat, his name is Carson, but his face is actually a mixture of my grandson and my great nephew. So
Oh,
I wanted to see if someone could merge those two together the same way with Where Is Mimi?
and that's not an easy question.
It's like, let's see what you have. And just to have these guys be able to take my thought and make a picture was awesome.
Wow, they did that. 'Cause like I said, that is not a simple ask.
No.
And I'm always on the lookout for good illustrators. And one thing that I have found a challenge is finding people who know how to or have the ability to create characters of color. For
Mhm.
some reason, when it comes to creating a character of color, sometimes non-African American illustrators don't get it right. Maybe sometimes they might go to the extreme, or they'll make the child look too old when the child is
Mhm.
only supposed to be 7 or 8 years old. Sometimes the coloring isn't always there. They go most times a little too dark. Um,
Right.
so when you're able to find an illustrator who's able to see your vision and bring it to life, um, that's huge. And it looks like you were able to do that.
Yes, I would work with these two guys any day. I have a couple other projects that I'm milling over, and definitely you'll see Andre for sure as the illustrator.
Nice, nice. So now, with the boy with the magic hat,
Mhm.
let's I know we talked about Where's Mimi, but what about the boy with the magic hat?
A Boy with a Magic Hat. Uh, he goes to school,
Mhm.
and instead of my nephew uses it to speak, and I thought that would be kind of boring, and I made his device a top hat,
Mhm.
and the words bubble out of his hat. He does, the little guy does, encounter bullying, and it happened to my nephew. A little boy asked him, "What's autistic?" And he told him, it's when my mom says my brain doesn't communicate with my vocal cords.
Right.
And that was just a simple answer for him. And the little boy says, "Well, that's weird. And you're weird." And because he takes things
Mm.
literal, he says, "Well, what's weird?" And the little boy says, "Being different." He says, "Well, you have blonde hair and she has black hair. Does that make you weird?" So it kind of takes the sting out of it. And A Boy with a Magic Hat, I developed what I wanted for him. And because how my grandmother told us how to treat people at little kids, the little guy gets all these little presents, and they're decorated magnificent down to very simple. And inside is the same gift, and the messages were the same, kind of different on the inside. We all have different packaging, but on the inside we are the same. And so you have to, they would have to get the book. He teaches the kids a lesson. It becomes a teachable moment for the class. And my nephew is actually doing very, very well in school. He actually doesn't use his preset buttons. He spells everything out.
Oh,
Yeah.
so he's learned to adapt.
Yes. Yes. He's the funniest kid and very sarcastic. I keep telling him he has to choose a lane. He can't be autistic and sarcastic. You got to choose one.
Well, I will tell you that sarcasm came in handy when the young man said that he was weird.
It did.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy for kids to have that type of a comeback. When they're going through school. I know I wouldn't have been able to come up with a comeback that quickly back in the.
I think because he takes things so literal that when the little boy explained what weird was, and he saw the differences between the two. Well, does that make you weird? So it is so him. He's nonverbal, but like I said, he's so sarcastic. And I think I get on his last nerve because I tell him all the time, I expect great things from him. From a little guy, I noticed that he learned differently. I noticed that he processed things differently. You can almost see the gears in his head turning. And I had to learn how to get him to communicate with me the way he could. And we have a complete language, and we don't speak a word. He lets me know what he wants when he needs it. But now that he has his device, again, his sarcasm is just blossoming. He's on this now kick. He'll ask for, please give me an Oreo. And then it's 2 seconds later, you'll hear clicking now. It's like,
wow. Okay.
His favorite show is Jeopardy.
I like Jeopardy. I bet he's good at it too.
He's 7.
It doesn't matter. He's probably still good at it for a 7-year-old.
He's very, very, very good at it. And he really makes us feel bad because he'll keep rewinding it like we're supposed to know the answer. And I say, I still don't know the answer. And he goes, again, so sarcastic. So sarcastic. I really believe he can talk. I just think that he thinks that we're not worthy of his words.
Oh,
I really believe that.
Oh, goodness.
I
You know what? I can see that. Like, I'll talk when there's something worth saying.
Yeah. I'll talk when I think they are mentally prepared for what I have to say. But he's a good kid. He's such a sweet kid. And he recognizes his face. He kind of looked at the book and he looked at me and he did like this. I said, yeah, that's you. And he gives me this big smile and he, puffs up his chest. I said, yes, you can tell people that your auntie wrote a book about you.
Love
and he
it.
just trots me. He is a character. He is the highlight of my day some days.
Larry Parker said, like Oreo cookies.
Yes. Yes. He wants them now.
Hey,
And
you know
spells
what?
it all the way out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He doesn't use preset buttons. If he wants to go to school, he types out the entire school's name and then it's dot, 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 now.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. But it's I'm glad that you are actually kind of breaking this down because there are so many kids who are in different parts of the spectrum, and sometimes people hear autism or whatever the disorder might be, they hear it and they think that it affects everybody the same way.
Oh,
And
it doesn't.
and that's what I was about to say. So the way he's experienced it, it could be somebody else's totally different experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people need to hear these different types of experiences so they can really just understand it a lot better.
I think the biggest issue that I've seen with is nephew, uh, people count them out because they learn differently. Like I
Right.
said, he's brilliant, and I used to tell his mom, expect great things from him. He is praise driven, and most of them are. I have encountered several autistic children on different ends of the spectrum. They are some of the most brilliant kids you ever want to meet. And society, they count them out a lot. They don't expect much from them. And I just go back to how, my grandmother interacted with my cousin. She was treated the same way that we were treated. And she expected her to do homework. She expected her to sit and eat at the table with the rest of us. And when
Mm,
you have an expectation for these children, they will rise to the occasion. My nephew is praise driven. And
mm.
if you praise him, he'll move a mountain. And I think
That's like a lot of people, though. If you praise them and tell them how great they are, they will work up to that challenge. They want to stand up to
yes,
that challenge. They were like,
yes,
"I'm going to show you how great I really am."
absolutely. And it is so disheartening to me when I see people that um, yes, they may make noise. That's because their senses are heightened.
Hmm.
And I can't imagine wanting to be able to say something and you just can't. That has to be so frustrating.
Yes.
And what I told my nephew, I said, listen, it's okay to be frustrated. I said, but show me. You can't ask a kid to tell you because he doesn't, sometimes they don't have the language to tell you
Right.
what's wrong. Show me. And sometimes he would rub his hand. Oh, you have a boo boo? And he'll go. So it's just taking time to connect with them. And a lot of times, what I see is, parents, guardians, teachers get frustrated um, in the process of trying to understand them, that they just want them to just go sit down somewhere, and that's just not how they're made
Right.
up.
And that's really more of a reflection on that adult because they're not sure how to communicate. So they get frustrated and sometimes they take it out on the child, not physically,
No,
but
no.
they take it out on the child because they don't know how to communicate. So as much as we're trying to work with our kids, we also have to work with the adults and teach
Mhm.
adults how to communicate with patience.
Yes. And once my niece got the hang of it, that just praise him. He will do anything if you praise him. And she says, he really does. I said, it's not that he doesn't understand what you're saying. He just can't speak to you to give you the answer. I said, but
Right.
he's communicating with you. And now I see her relaxing more.
That's good.
and she's seeing a future that he can have. When you start looking at these kids, they're just the same kind of different as everybody else. Instead of seeing them as they're much more than their disability.
Love it. That's a great way to end it, because unfortunately we've reached the bottom of the hour.
So great. Thank you so much.
Yes. But I put Larry's comment on here because it's so true. He said, as someone who works in SPED, individuals will surprise you if you are willing to be actively engaged. And I think that's really what we were talking about.
Yes.
It's just being engaged. So thank you, Larry, for that comment, and thank you, Lisa, for your stories and sharing them with the world. If you can show us your covers one more time.
Absolutely.
A boy with a magic hat.
Boy with a magic hat. And I've been asked a couple times for a sequel to this, and I'm working on it.
Okay, good.
This is Where is Mimi?
Beautiful. Well, thank you very much for joining me tonight, and best wishes on all of your endeavors. And I hope you're able to reach even more families with these beautiful stories. Your links are in the chat, so I encourage everybody to click these links and purchase these books. I'm sure that there's a child in your family, an adult in your family, who would benefit from reading these stories. And so let's support our authors who are on the show tonight. So thank you, Lisa.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye. Okay, so that was author Lisa R. Frazier. And now we're about to move over to a story that's really going to surprise you. I know when I heard the story just last week, I was shocked. And so I'm about to bring my next guest on. But before we do, I want to show you this trailer that he created for his story, and it's just going to really set the mood for the entire thing. So Daniel, if you're ready, let's go ahead and play that. Where's Daniel? Okay, I think we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty, so we might have to come back to Daniel, but we are going to play that intro. Let me see, maybe I can play it. There we go. Okay. Yes, I can play it. So I'm going to play it because I'm Superwoman and I can do these things. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on Michael so he can set it up, and then we're going to go right into the video. So hello, Michael.
Hey, Rhonda, how you doing?
I'm fine, but I think I hear some feedback. Are you? Oh, you might have to. You're watching the show too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you just have to turn the show down.
Okay. Let's see. How's that?
Oh, better.
Okay.
Okay, so what we were just talking about, oh, you might have to mute it.
Let's see.
Okay. Okay, now you muted yourself. Okay, or just turn the show off. Are you watching it on Facebook? Or
No,
YouTube?
I'm not watching it.
Oh.
I was just watching it live through the show.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure why it's doing that, but we're going to just keep on going. All right, so I was just telling the audience about your book. And I was going to show the trailer, but while I'm setting up the trailer, because I think our producer's having some technical difficulties. But while we're setting up the trailer, can you go ahead and first of all introduce yourself and then tell us a bit about the book?
Okay, my name is Michael Smith. I'm from Cleveland. I'm born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. My book is based on a true story, probably about, let's say, in in 1988, around when the time I had my first son, I really got into like genealogy. I really wanted to learn the legacy of my father and his side of the family. His grandparents died at a very when his parents was very young. I think the oldest of the siblings probably was like 5 years old. It was three of them, and they were raised by their different relatives. So they grew up never knowing really anything about their parents, and they didn't pass anything really on to their kids. So my dad didn't even know the name of his grandparents. So when I was when we were pregnant with my oldest son, my first son, I was in the military station at Barksdale, and I had a vision of wanting this big family tree with all my ancestors to just really show my kids as they grew up, who was who, and that they just really knew their family history. I knew a lot about my mom's side of the family, but nothing really about my dad. So it was a lot different than it is now. We couldn't do things online. We had to go to the library and just really
They
dig.
didn't have 21 and Me back in the, or is it 23 and Me back in those days?
Heritage, none of those. So after months of searching, I was able to really actually find out who my father's grandparents were. And man, he was excited. We were always excited. Other family members started, my niece, so she started getting involved with it. It kind of came to a halt like during Desert Storm. So after that was over, would end up getting out the military and got put on hold. And few years later, picked it back up again when I was on the police department, put it back down because this life was just so busy. Same thing, moved to San Antonio, became an investigator, opened up my own State Farm and business, entrepreneur stuff, got busy. My father passed away in 2009. So I kind of wanted to pick it up again, and I started, but just kept running into a roadblock. I thought about doing like one of the ancestry type DNAs and just decided not to do it. Picked it up in 2018 again for a family reunion that was on my mom's side. Kind of inspired me to want to get back into it. So I finally, in 2022, decided, you know what, I'm going to do an ancestry DNA test. And that's how I opened up Pandora's box
and that was a serious Pandora's box you opened up.
Pandora's box down the rabbit hole.
Well, before you go into the book, we do have the trailer ready. So I am going to, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm about to start playing it.
In a world where identity is everything, one man is about to discover his was never his to begin with. Former police officer and Air Force veteran Michael Smith wanted answers, a name, a history, a place to belong. So he took a simple DNA test, never knowing it would unleash a truth that would shatter everything. This fall, a journey for family becomes a descent into a generational nightmare. Hidden lies, buried secrets, a mystery protected by silence and built on betrayal. As Michael follows the trail, one clue at a time, he uncovers a revelation so dark, so unthinkable, it rewrites not just his story, but the story of everyone he thought he knew. Armed with the instincts of an investigator and the heart of a survivor, he confronts a chilling reality. Sometimes the most terrifying crimes are committed by the people we trust the most. This year, identity will be questioned, loyalty will be tested, and the truth will demand a price. There's a stranger in my blood, a true story of deception, betrayal, and the fight for redemption. Some secrets destroy, others set you free. But once the truth calls your name, nothing can silence it. There's a stranger in my blood, a true story of deception, betrayal, and the fight for redemption.
That is so heavy.
Thank you.
Yeah. First of all, great job with the trailer. Now you got us all wanting to know what in the world happened.
The results that came back happened is what it was. Like I said, I was trying to find out more about my dad's side of the family, and I opened up the results from that, and I saw these different, I guess, matches, and none of them was anyone I knew except for maybe just a couple of people. It was my niece. That's my twin sister's daughter. There was a couple of people from my mother's side of the family that I saw that I recognized, but there was plenty of people that was coming back, close relatives that I had no clue who they were. And it didn't make any sense. So when the first calls I made was to my brother, and I was like, hey man, they're saying that these people are like my nieces or nephews, or is it possible that you have any kids out here that you don't maybe know about or we don't know about? And he was like, no, I was, pretty careful, especially before I got married and had my own kids. So I was like, hey, look, I'm getting these results back. So I reached out to all my siblings, my twin sister, my older sister, my older brother, and say, hey, this stuff is not making any sense. I'm about to dig into this. Do you want to know what I found out, whatever I find out? If you don't want to know, let me know, and I won't share it with you. But if you want to know the information, let me know before I start digging, so I know, how to approach you about what I'm finding. So all of them were very supportive and supported me in, trying to find out who these individuals were. I started reaching out to these different people, and they couldn't answer a lot of the questions. They all thought, that the man, or that their father was their father, their mother was their mother. They weren't adopted or anything. So come to find out, one of the first young ladies that we connected with, come to find out her father was my half brother.
Wow.
And we grew up together in Cleveland. He went to the same school as my older brother and sister. He was a year ahead of my oldest sister. And come to find out he was my half brother. And that number.
You two actually knew each other.
No.
Okay.
Never knew anything about each other. So we're trying to figure out, okay, is your father my father? Both of our fathers? Is my father both our fathers? Or what was the connection? So we eliminated that it wasn't. We did some additional DNA tests among siblings, and that's when I verified that all my siblings was only my half sibling, except for my twin sister. We shared the same father. And he found out the same thing. He had 3 other siblings, and he was the only one that had a different father. So we knew it wasn't his father because the rest of the relatives were matching up with the father's side of the family. So our mothers were shared the same, we shared the same father through our mothers.
Right.
That was kind of hard to digest, because we have our mothers on these pedestals, and we was like, man, did our mother have an affair? Who did she have an affair with this guy? So we're trying to humanize her and just take her off that pedestal and just to see how we were going to deal with this moving forward. Well, that number started to grow and grow and grow. I started out with 3 siblings, a twin sister and 2 other brothers and sisters. By the time this journey was over with, I had 18 plus half siblings and growing that I found out.
That is crazy.
Yes, but the hardest part of this journey was trying to figure out who my father was, because none of it was adding up, because everyone I reached out to, we all thought that our father was our father, except for one that I finally reached out to, and he was kind of able to help us put some of the pieces of the puzzle together. I was finally able to find out that my father was actually a doctor. And it seems like the relationships that he had with a lot of these women wasn't consensual. When me and my twin sister was born, he was 72 years old. My biological father was found out to be born in 1895. He was 70 years old when I was born, and and my mother was 29. He was her doctor. I have brothers and sisters that's older than my parents, or if my father was still alive. I have a 94-year-old sister named Pearl, and I have an 88-year-old brother about to turn 89 named Jimmy. That we never knew anything of. The rest of a lot of the other ones have passed away. They're the only two that's living besides the other one I told you, Steve, that lives in Cleveland, went to this school with my older siblings. And me and my twin sister, we're the only ones that we know of that's still living. The rest of them have passed away. There's some of them like I said, we're still searching for and still trying to find out.
I can imagine once you've uncovered all of this, that you look just like your video where you're just sitting there with your head in your hands like this, just wondering what in the world did I just find?
Yes. It was a lot of weight to carry.
What did you do? I mean, because I don't know if I'm finding information like this. I don't know if my first inclination is to make a phone call, to run, or do anything. I would probably just be sitting there in shock for a while.
I definitely did, and it was some of the hardest decisions I had to make, especially reaching out to some people, because sometimes people wasn't responding. People didn't want to know the truth, still don't want to know the truth, still struggling with the truth. But the ones that did respond back to me, and we found out what the connection was, the relationships that we built have been so strong, and they helped me through this whole thing. I definitely don't know what I could have did without them if it wasn't for them supporting me through this whole thing.
So, what's the family reunion like? I mean, you reach out to these people, to your sisters and brothers who didn't know about you, you didn't know about them. Then you finally get to be face to face with at least some of them. What happens?
I've met all the ones that still alive. I've met. I've probably met everybody. I'm probably the only one of them that met it. We've had different reunions. The first get together that we had was my 94-year-old sister Pearl and Jimmy to meet for the first time. We all met in DC. Everybody flew in and didn't live there, and man, it was just beautiful. Because Jimmy was like, "I'm 88 years old. I want to see my sister Pearl. He said, "We're going in February. If whoever's not coming, that's fine. But I'm going to see my sister." And in my book, I call it a room full of miracles. It was just it was just a good time. And I don't think it was a dry in the room when we got together, and we still get together for birthdays, different events. I just came back from Jimmy's 70th anniversary party. A lot of people came in. This new family. I mean, it's like we've known each other all our lives.
That's
It's
awesome.
been that way. The acceptance has been it's just unbelievable. I can't even begin to describe. I'm not saying it's going to be that way for everybody, because there were some people that did not want to talk to me and still don't want to talk to me to this day.
I was going to ask you that too.
Especially some of the ones, especially when they know that he was my biological father. He was a predator. He was an actual predator, and he took advantage of his position, his authority, and it's just unfortunate. It's a lot of people that do take advantage of their position, and he took advantage of, that position with my mother and a lot of other people. I have one of my brothers that I talk about in the book. We call him the shoebox baby. His son contacted me through Ancestry and said, "Hey, we're showing up that you're my uncle. Can you shed some light?" And I kind of explained, "Hey, I've been researching this. This is what I came up. Do you want to know? Do you want to know what I found out?" And he said, "Yeah, definitely." So he told me kind of what he knew about his father. And I explained to him, I said, "Well, I know who your dad's father is. I don't know who his mother is, but his father was delivered in the middle of the night in a shoebox to the bar. And they raised him. as their own. He grew up and passed away and died never knowing who his mother or father was. I mean,
Wow.
there's just a lot of stories. There's a lot of other half siblings that, have a lot of these same type stories. Some good, some of us turned out didn't have as rough a life, and some of us had really rough lives, and it just really had a big impact on their life and how things turned out. But it's just we've just come together and we made the best out of it, and it's really just you can really hold pain and joy in hands at the same time. It's just been a beautiful thing.
Wow. As you speak about this, the question that pops into my mind is, um, you turned out to be blessed because you had a pretty good life and you wound up having two great careers. So do you count this as being blessed, as getting lucky? What do you see this as?
Um, it's been a blessing in some ways, but it's actually changed me in a lot of ways. It's changed me how I see myself, how I parent, how I love, and especially how I trust. So it's definitely it's definitely had a big impact on me for just the way I see life and how I judge or how I see family. Um,
Right.
but yeah, it's been, like I said, it's been a journey. But like I say, it's been tragic, but it's been a blessing at the same time, because his kids and grandkids and things, they grew up in uh, a very nice neighborhood. Went to the best schools, best colleges, and everything. I didn't have that luxury. A lot of the my other siblings, we didn't have that luxury. We struggled. Our family struggled. So but just we've been blessed, and a lot of us were able to. It felt like some type of science or social uh project that somebody was doing, like a experiment to see how, if we put these kids here and do this, how would they all turn out. That's kind of like, it felt like we were part of the experiment or something.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I cannot imagine. I mean, I think my mind would totally be blown if I had done that type of research on my family, thinking I'm going to find kings and queens and all kinds of things, and then I find out something like this. Um, and yeah, it probably could have changed the way you saw the world, and it probably could have changed your whole persona. But it seemed like it made you stronger in some ways.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like I say, I've had just so many people reach out to me, and just how they were able to relate to the story or going through the same thing. And like the world that we're living in, and with DNA, people are finding these things out daily. And it's just things that I've been able to share with them about, you know, one of my nieces, a couple of my nieces found out they had a half sister, and it was really difficult for them. There was only one person we were dealing with. I have nieces, nephews, some of them 10, 15 years older than me,
Yeah.
and of course, brothers and sisters that was, in their 80s and 90s. But one of the big things is how to develop those relationships, how to set boundaries, how not to rush in and just, because some people, you want to rush in and like, oh, this is my brother, this is my sister, this is my niece, but it may feel like you've known each other your whole life, but you really haven't. And just just really setting those boundaries and just getting to know each other slowly, because everybody's not on the same level, and everybody's not willing to accept everything right now or at this time. But the thing is just to be there for them when they're ready.
Well, Pam Coleman says that your story has her adding your book to her Amazon order.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's real good people. She says she can relate to finding out things that were kept in the closet.
Yes, and like I said, that's how a lot of us was raised. What happened in that house stays in the house, and a lot of our parents or grandparents, they took these things to the grave with them, and that's just the generation that we was raised. I don't think my parents really knew. I don't think a lot of these women knew that they were impregnated. I tried. My mom has some mental issue, dementia things going on, and I've talked to her, but so I only have a small window when I talk to her sometimes before, she just starts to veer to the left. But I asked her, did she know him? She said yes. She said he's dead now. He was a doctor. I mean, I had most of the stuff that I found out and tracked and evidence to put this. I mean, I had a big whiteboard, looked like a detective crime scene board in my office, putting the pieces together. But he had a book out, and I used the book that he wrote, his memoir, to find out a lot of things about him and where he was at and connected the pieces, all the kids and
Now, did
things
he
of that nature.
mention anything about what he had done in his book?
No, but it was some disturbing things in his book. It's like he was telling things about himself. He even wrote that when he was a kid, that his mother dressed him in dresses till he was 11 years old. Just, I mean, it was really weird that he was so socially awkward that he used to pay men to take his wife out dancing and things that when they got married. It was just things that was, why would he just out of the blue put things like this in his book? But he definitely didn't seem like he was this type of ladies' man or anything like that. He seemed like he was, it kind of showed that he was just socially awkward and had some things going on. Even though he was a brilliant doctor, in his book he talked about how many babies he delivered, because he started out as a pharmacist for one.
Mm-hmm.
Then he became a general practitioner. He did surgery and he became a OBGYN. And he talked in the book, and this was in 1950. He had already delivered over 1,500 babies.
Wow.
One of the big things that I found out first was that kind of like led me to believe that these relationships wasn't consensual is I found out while I was digging in research, I found an article in the Calling Post from 1951 and another one from 53 about him. He was charged with 2 counts of seduction for a maid that cleaned his office at the Majestic Hotel in Cleveland. And she won the case in 1951, but he had it overturned in 1953. We had I think a doctor friend come in talking about he couldn't have any kids. That he said he didn't have any kids, but he had like 6 with his wife, and said that he wasn't able to, because of his girth and size, to physically perform and have sexual relations with this 19 or 20-year-old woman and get her pregnant. He was in his 50s at that time. But that's one of the people that I'm still looking for, that I'm having trouble finding, because even though the case is documented, the way that the system changed, there's not a case number anymore. Right. I mean, they can't look it up by name. They need a case number. Without that case number, I can't find out all the details. I do know the mother's name. Her name was Louise Brown. Okay, from Cleveland, Ohio. She lived at, let me see what street. She lived on. What street was that she lived on in Cleveland during the 1950s? It was 5720 Longfellow was the street that she lived on in Cleveland at the time, and she worked there as a maid. But I know that the kid was born in February of 1950. I don't know if it was a male or female, but that's another one of our half brothers or sisters. She's probably in her 70s right now, probably in her 70s now. So that's one that we're still looking for and trying to find. But like I say, it all comes with that burden of, I have people that I could still reach out to. I'd rather both writing this book for them to reach out to me, because I don't want to turn somebody's life upside down if they don't want to know this information. But I want the information to be out there for them to reach out to us and learn what we've learned, so they'll have the knowledge, so we don't have any brothers and sisters marrying each other, cousins marrying each other, nieces and nephews.
That's why it's important. Yeah.
Or somebody, passed away because they're looking in the wrong place for a donor, for bone marrow, for this, and the person is right there in their backyard. Because, like I say, documents and people, they lie or fudge the truth, but DNA, it doesn't lie.
Wow. Well, this is a super powerful story, and I want to thank you for coming on to the Horizons Author Lounge and sharing it with all of us. So I hope that everybody will purchase the book so they can find out more information about this story. And they may even find that there are some mysteries in their own families that they might want to resolve. So do you have any, for lack of a better term, I'll say tips, but do you have any advice for people who may want to do their own family journey?
Oh, definitely. Like I say, right now I'm working on a podcast and a couple of other things. It's called Ain't No Family Like the One I Got, and so it's going to help people how to do the research, what's the best route to take, how to send messages and reach out to people. Because I reached out to a lot of them, but the majority of them uh, they respond. I talk to so many people. It's like I can't get anybody to respond to me. How did you get them to respond? So I give them tips on how to approach them. And like I said, one of the biggest things was when you do is setting those boundaries with those relationships. But yeah, I would encourage anybody if that's something that they want to do, definitely do it. I would not definitely not discourage. You have a right to know the truth, and there's a lot of us out there that will probably be surprised about some of the things that we will find out with the DNA results and just the direction we're moving in with DNA.
Well, your friend Will McGowan is on right now. He said that you didn't tell him that the show was 7 p.m. Eastern time that he was logging on. So Will, get him.
Okay. It's just been a crazy week.
It
But yeah,
happened.
yeah, and I look forward to definitely seeing you in Houston at the book festival in Houston.
Yes,
Coming
absolutely.
up.
I'm looking forward to that myself. Yeah.
Yes,
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you once again for sharing your story. And I wish you all the best. And I'm really happy that you were able to bring a lot of your family together and we were able to meet them because many of the people who you mentioned are much older.
yes,
So for them to be able to meet other parts of their family before they transition, I think even if they don't know it now, it's a blessing for them.
yes, definitely. And like I said, I'll be posting other things, and like I say, it's you're gonna feel like you're almost cheating on your family
Yeah.
with your siblings you grew up with. It was like really like you were walking a tightrope, but uh, there's a balance there, and they'll understand. And you definitely shouldn't feel like you're doing something wrong, because like I said, that was one of the biggest things I had was guilt. How my brothers and sisters are going to feel that I grew up, how would my parents feel about this? But like I said, at the end of the day, you have a right to know the truth, and don't let no one discourage you from finding out that truth. And like
Amen.
I said,
Amen.
healing and being able to heal from it.
Uh, thank you. Thank you once again. You have a wonderful evening, and I pray that you have a whole lot of success with this book.
Thank you, Dr. Rhonda.
We're gonna be supporting you.
Thank you. You have a blessed day.
You too. Bye bye. All right, y'all. We have reached the end of another Horizons Author Lounge, and thank you so much for joining me today. Now, before I leave, I do want to let you know about this really cool thing I have going on. If you are an author and you want some more sales before the end of the year, you want to hit that Christmas rush because maybe you have a book that you know would be really good for the holidays, kind of like my book, Surprise Swipe Right. Well, I am putting together a cohort of 15 authors, and I want you guys to be a part of that. So, what this is called the Holiday List Sprint. And let me come over here so y'all can see me better. All right, so the Holiday List Sprint will be a 5-week cohort to help you to optimize your book so it can get on more lists before people start to put together their holiday list, because a lot of people people out there, like promoters, bloggers, and so forth, they usually have these lists that they put out around the holidays of great books to buy. We want to make sure that you optimize your book so you can be on these lists. Now, I'm not promising you because you're not gonna come after me, but I will let you know that this holiday list sprint is tailor-made for you. If you have a great book that somebody can be blessed by, even if it's a book like Stranger in My Blood, somebody would be totally blessed by that story. I want to be able to help you to optimize your book so you can get on that list. Now, as you can see, there are only 15 slots, and this cohort starts August 5th. So the deadline to sign up is August 4th. So if you want to be a part of it, what I want you to do is click the link that's in the chat right now. It's called List Me MTW. Go ahead, click that link, join the cohort, and then on August 5th, we are going to get to work. We're going to be updating your metadata. We're going to help you to get more discoverable in AI searches. By the time you finish, you are going to have a very powerful description on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or whatever your favorite site is to sell your books, and you are going to be ready for this holiday season. So, like I said, just click this link, join the cohort, and I will see you on August 5th. But in the meantime, I just want to thank all of you. Let me go ahead and turn this off. I want to thank all of you for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you. Please continue to help this show to continue to grow. So I want everybody to go to YouTube right now, if you have not done so already, and subscribe to the show. Because when you subscribe to the show and you watch the show, you help us to grow, and you help us to continue our monetization, and you help us to support more authors, because that's what this is all about. I want to continue bringing quality literature to all of you. So that is all I have for tonight. I love you guys. Thank you once again for joining me, and I will see you next week, where we are going to be meeting some of the authors who will be a part of the National Association of Black Journalists Conference that's going to be in Atlanta. So if you are planning on going to NABJ, you definitely want to tune in next week so you can hear all about the author panel, because I'm telling you, there are going to be some heavy hitters on this panel. So you're going to find out all about it next week. I want you guys to be a part of that show. And also, big shouts out to Gwen Richardson and the National Black Book Festival and Black Authors Matter TV, because believe it or not, we hit a huge milestone yesterday, or actually tomorrow. Actually, we'll be hitting that milestone tomorrow. July 28th will actually be how many years? 6 years since we started Black Authors Matter TV. So we're going to be celebrating. Last week we had a huge anniversary show, but tomorrow is the actual date, and that we aired our first show. And I just want to thank all of you who continue to support that show as well. So tune in tomorrow night. Say hello to both me and Gwen as we support some more authors, and as we air our 6th anniversary show. So that's all I have for tonight, guys. Love you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Have a blessed week, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.